I'm a chalker. I use chalk as a means of communication. I leave messages on the street for friends, acquaintances, and strangers. It's a neat way of reaching people, and it's cheap. It needs no power outlets. The only requirement is a piece of chalk, you know, the stuff that kids use for playing games on the streets. Chalk comes in narrow and thick sticks. It's compressed powder and cylinder-shaped. A new piece stands erect like a soldier and ready to serve. Printed letters make the most legible prose, and smooth surfaces fare very well as information boards. The color of your chalk is also important. Red for urgent messages, blue for reminders, and yellow for feel-good messages. However, white chalk is the standard and most frequently used. Some people think that marking the sidewalk with chalk is vandalizing property.
My boss just told me to tell you to clean this up.
Okay.
All right, so
We'll get it.
I don't want to lose my job.
No, that's all right.
Is he coming out of the water?
But chalking is not about defacing property. It's not exactly graffiti. It's about enhancing it. And besides, it's only temporary. Messages don't last very long. Pedestrian traffic and nature's ways erase it and make it fade away. But while it's there, it holds its own. It radiates in the sun, and the small powdered particles reflect the light of the day as good and as well as any urban image. A mild wind will sometimes blow its dust along the surface like a small wave sliding across the ocean water. Dust to dust, chalk to gone. Early mornings and late evenings are the best times for chalking. The streets are deserted and quiet, and one can assume a comfortable position while inscribing a message. However, in New York City, someone is always walking down the block, and if not that, it feels like someone is watching you. Surprisingly, some people will stop as you're chalking, and some will even remain to read what was recorded. A guy once asked me what I was doing. I looked up and replied, teaching my dog how to read. Chalk messages have endless possibilities in their amusement and information value. Inscribing messages for people can be traced as far back to the caveman. Oh, let's not forget the Ten Commandments. Chalking has less of a legacy, but the most prominent but unrecorded are the chalk gangs of the 30s and 40s. Young men who fought battles not with guns and knives, but with chalk. Invading neighborhoods and enemy terrain with messages of bold cavalier and bravado. There were the Chalk Clovers, an Irish gang, the Latin Sticks, a Hispanic gang, but the most famous were the Chocolatiers, an African-American gang led by the legendary Chocolate Smoke, who wrote only in brown chalk he made himself. It is believed that he was ambidextrous and could chalk forward with one hand and backward with the other at the same time, as well as upside down. Today, in less romantic times, we have individual chalkers like myself and chalk clubs or armies as they are called. Requirements for entry vary, but general standards ask that the new applicant place messages that are public service in nature. Sabotaging messages or chalk chasing may bring severe penalties, the most stringent being chalk-marshaled. Robert Frost once said that one could be worse than a swinger of birches, and I suppose the same could be said of chalking. In an era of ones and zeros, emails and voicemails, faxes, information highways, websites, and internet surfing, utilizing chalk as a means of communication appears to be antiquated and archaic. I'm not recommending that we do away with the conveniences of modern technology, but a message inscribed in chalk remains a refreshing relief from receiving information disguised as communication. It is humble in the posture one must assume to inscribe it on pavement, and its remains are noble in their sheer simplicity and innocence. So once, just maybe once, you'll give it a try and chalk it up to returning to the grown-up in you and leaving the adult behind. Because what makes any form of communication personal is not what the message comes on, but the way it gets there.